Research participant was asked, does current research identify good afternoon. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Raw Approach. I am Dr. Woods, and we are in the house on tonight. Amen, amen. What a day. Beautiful weather. We're going to have great conversation today. We got the one and the only Christopher Tyrone Wade. We want to welcome him in the house. For those that don't know him, he's better known as the Connoisseur. We call him the Connoisseur of knowledge. Connoisseur, welcome.
What's up, man? What's going on?
It's all you. You got it all. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself and what it is that you like doing.
All right. Well, you know, I'm in education, and people may not know that me and you are both part of Phi Beta Sigma. We both pledged in Alpha Rho in '91. Back in the day, we both pledged back in the day.
That's how you was my number one, and you kept us in trouble. That's another story, another day.
Yeah, that is. That's another.
On March 17th.
Yeah, that's another thing. We might have to call that Raw After Dark. We'll do Raw After Dark. We'll do a Raw After Dark on that one. We'll talk about some of the freaky tales.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get back focused.
All right. All right. Yeah, I'm in education, man. Been in education. I've been back in education since 2016. Started education with you, Chop, back in Wings Academy back in the 90s. Been off and on in the educational field, the social service field, mental health field primarily. And currently I'm a teacher, African American studies, government economics. That's my passion is history Black Studies. I've been studying Black history since I was in the 3rd grade. Remember, I've been reading my.
That's interesting. You were studying Black history, and especially at the school. What were you going to school at in 3rd grade?
I was going to Mitchell Nelson Elementary, but we had some world books, encyclopedias I used to read at the crib.
Now, you know what? That is a lost art. I don't think these kids even know what a world book or encyclopedia is anymore.
And almanacs. That's how I learned back in the day, using almanacs and watching Mutual Kingdom of Omaha. Wild Kingdom.
Oh, that's when that dude got caught up with that anaconda.
Yeah. And Sesame Street. And Mr. Rogers and all that good shit back in the day. That's how we got educated back then. That's how we didn't have Google. We had.
You know, but one good thing is, as soon as you got out of school, you had some very informative educational shows going on.
And you did back then. I used to watch them on Nickelodeon. For real, Nickelodeon used to have some. Seriously, Nickelodeon used to have some educational shows back then. They used to have a show called Spread Your Wings and Fractured Features, and these were shows about kids from different parts of the world that they would talk about. And I remember watching that stuff, man. That's how I learned.
That's what's up, man.
That's how I learned.
We're glad that you got interested in the Black history of yourself, and you have a wealth of knowledge. One of the things that always interests me with you, and I always share with people, is that we will go out just random places and run up into people from totally different countries and stuff, and you would start talking to them, and they would believe you was from that country. You knew about the money, the currency. You knew about who the king or the president was. You knew like certain streets, and I mean, you was able to carry on some very significant conversation.
We did. You remember Black at Bank?
He barely been out of Tennessee.
You remember back during Black Beach? We had him two Latinos thinking I was the Prince of Cuba. I had him think I was the Prince of Cuba. Didn't know one Spanish word. I just kept saying bonjour.
I told someone that if all these people have just asked you to speak the language, you'd have been done.
I would have been done.
But no one ever asked you that. I mean, you can pick countries I never even heard of. You know, but that's what's up, man. I welcome you, man. We welcome you to the Raw Approach.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and dive in, man. This is one thing that I like to ask everyone about work-life balance. And I had someone to tell me that they was watching Elsbeth. They were watching Elsbeth last weekend, and they was talking about the importance of work-life balance, dealing with kids and having a perfect career and all of that type stuff going on. And she was like, man, it's so amazing. I hear about work-life balance on this TV show, but I really got introduced to work-life balance and what it is with the Raw Approach. So I like for my people to give those type of comments and everything, keep me involved in your support. So we're gonna go there, right? So we do have people clicking in. I'm gonna be bringing them on as we go, but I want you to go ahead, Connoisseur. Here we have Russell Sattler. What up, Russ?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, Sattler?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's going on, man?
Go ahead and give us, what do you do to express or ensure that you are able to have a work-life balance? What do you do?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, recently, I lost a sister back in the fall. So that kind of drove our family a lot closer. So I spend a lot of time with our family, do a lot of family stuff now, just try to get out. And I'm a nature person. I really like nature. I like to get out. We have a greenway down here in Murfreesboro. I like to walk and hike in, stuff like that, man. I like to be connected with nature. I like a lot of nature stuff. A lot of nature, and when I'm at home, when it's not football season, I like to put on Tubi and watch some good hood movies on Tubi. They got some good hood moves though. They got this one called Memphis Afghanistan.
But you know what, man? What's amazing, man? There's a lot of people that really enjoys tubing, and I
Yeah, I
think a
enjoy
lot of people
tubing.
take tubing for granted.
Yeah, I take tubing for it. But pretty much that, read, relax, meditate, man. Just anything, you know, you get older, you can't do all that drinking and smoking no more. So I had to cut all that out and find
All
other
right,
healthy
how
things
long
to
you
do.
been? How long you done stopped drinking?
I mean, I still drink every now and then, not like I used to.
Well, what about the smoking?
Oh, I stopped smoking in 2018.
2018.
2018 for cigarettes. And
So you've been free for about 7 years then.
7 years, man.
Is
7 years.
Russell sitting there looking at his face?
It was killing me. It was. What happened? I got bronchitis, and that last time I got bronchitis, it took me out, man. I thought I was gonna die.
Well, we glad you got yourself together. What's going on, Russ?
Hey, nothing much, man. I was hearing Brother Wade talk about he's a outdoors connoisseur.
Yeah.
Outdoors, okay.
Today would have been a good day for frog gigging.
Russ, you want to tell it?
Hey, man, I'm not gonna laugh at your jokes because they ain't gonna stop. So I gotta hold in.
All right.
All right, Russ, you want to tell us? You know, you deal with family, and you have a very very what's the word? Your job requires a lot from you because you travel a lot. You got a lot of stuff going on. Just roll with it, because every time I try to hit you, you doing some travel. Don't act like I'm making up that you be traveling now.
All right, so no, you're not making up at all. So I think the thing was work-life balance was a question. So it's kind of hard, man. I think culturally it's hard for us to understand work-life balance until you get older. When we first started in the workforce, you was counting dollars and hours, so you didn't really have time to have peace coming home from work, because like you would work like 2 and 3 jobs. Like, from 7 to 11 I can make this, and from 11 to 7 I can do this. I can sleep at this job, sleep a few hours, watch the clients or whatnot. But as soon as you get older, you have kids, you get married, you be in relationships, and work-life balance is really hard, especially when you're trying to get to the top. But the company that I work for, they have like a rotation schedule type deal. So it's like 13 days. You work 13 days, you get 3 days off. And they also pay you 80 hours. You have a bank of 80 hours that you can use. So if you wanted to go on a trip or something like that with your family, you can do that. But you just got to make sure that it's within the confines of the project, right? You don't want to, the project is relying on you to be there, but most importantly, they want you to be healthy while you're there. So the work-life balance part is a big thing.
One more time. Say that part one more time.
What part?
They want you healthy.
Oh, they want you healthy. So there's some things in the company, like the healthcare is different. They're starting to pay for gym memberships and things like that. Also, most importantly, they do this thing where if your BMI is lower the year before, you might get an incentive, might get an extra $200 or something like that. But most importantly, health as well. We preach that every day when we're on a job site. But like my man Wade said, though, man, getting outdoors, I know one of the things for me was, Nashville has a lot of waters that have natural waters and lakes. And one of the things that I used to do after work or whatever is just go to the lake, go down to Percy Priest, and just see the waves.
That's my spot right there.
You say you're in Arizona now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona.
What do they got in Arizona? What type of nature stuff they got in Arizona?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of things is mountain climbing and things like that. It takes you nice little trips through the mountain and see the countryside, see the
Have
terrain.
you came across the Gila monster yet?
No, I have not. I have not seen one of them poisonous suckers yet.
You ain't seen the Gila monster yet, have you?
Nah, I haven't seen the Gila monster.
Hi, y'all. I
There are a lot of them in Nashville, though. That's like a drive.
A lot of.
We're gonna have to edit that one. We're gonna have to edit that one.
That Connoisseur was just talking about we need a raw approach after dark show. I'm gonna pray for all of y'all.
They ain't ready for that, man. They ain't ready for that, man. That means you gotta have your own cognac too, man. It'll be like Club State say on Octane.
Well, I don't know nothing about cognac, but my drink of choice is agua.
Okay, cool. Moonshine? Is that moonshine? Okay.
No, man, that's water with lime juice in it. All right, Connoisseur, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna ask you to go ahead and dive in. And we got some couple little clips we're gonna get into.
All right.
Give us a little education on DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion.
All right. First, let me give you some basis on the thing about DEI. Initially, DEI was founded to really have inclusion. Up until the 50s and 60s, you had white male. Everything was about the white male. Then you have affirmative action that was first written by Claude Anderson in the 70s. It goes through this phase, and then recently with DEI. Now, here's the thing about DEI, and these two clips are going to give you two different perspectives. But let me give you a little bit of data first about the DEI. Now, I got this out of CNN Us. Okay. This was written by Nikhil Ellis on February the 8th, 2025. It doesn't give like a breakdown percentage, but it gives like an order, of ascending order, who's the biggest benefits. One of the first biggest benefits is white women. And according to the Zippia Search Site Center, 76% of all chief adversary officers were white, with half of them women. So they were one of the biggest. So when you talk about diversity inclusion, they were benefiting more than the people they were trying to include. So white women was the first. The second group was LGBT. That was the second in ascending order. You had companies like Adobe and Bain that were hosting all types of pride celebration and things of that for inclusion as well. The third, and I didn't know this myself, I didn't know this, but the American with disabilities. Disabilities. Matter of fact, last year, the Department of Education, under the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitation, they spent $10 million at Florida Atlantic University for training with people with disabilities. And you hear Trump talk about he's against DEI, but here's the funny thing. Under his first administration back in 2019, the Federal Aviation Administration actually launched a pilot program to train people with disabilities. And that happened under Trump's first. Back then he wasn't talking about DEI, downplaying DEI. It was more so build the wall. The fourth group were veterans. Starbucks have hired and trained over 40,000 people and their spouses of helping veterans out. And then there's another agency called Ernst & Young. They have partnered with an agency called the United Services Organization that's doing some job training and development for DEI people, for the DEI program. But these were the people that actually benefit. And I told you yesterday, blacks are at the bottom, just like with affirmative action. Overall, there was some hiring of black people with affirmative action, but once again, what they did with the word minority. See, when black people heard the word minority, we were thinking us, because we 13% of the population, we're thinking we're the minority. But in actuality, during 1964, the Civil Rights Act, they included these other things I've just mentioned. But what they made minority to include white women, Hispanics, who even classify themselves as white, Asians, Middle Easterners. And here's the funny thing about Middle Easterners. If you talk to people from the Middle East, they don't have a classification of race. But when they come here to America, they get classified as white. But yet they were able to take part in programs that were quote unquote designed for people of color or other minorities. So I said, black people at the bottom. And like I told you and Sadler earlier, black people was only above two other groups that black people was above. And that was the Eskimos and crackheads. Everybody else we did. That was it. The only two groups that we did.
I don't know how you do it.
You just got to pray for that man. You just got to pray for that man.
You know, education.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and got 2 clips. Want to be able to give your opinion on them. Let's watch.
They made all the Wall Streets, the Slocums, the Allentowns, the Rosewoods, and everything you could think of. They made that, and they didn't do it with DEI. There was no diversity, equity, and inclusion programs for them, right? And it hasn't been none for us. But diversity, equity, and inclusion programs for them, right? And it hasn't been none for us. But anyway, back to our ancestors. They knew that if they didn't do what it do, it wasn't no DEI. It was going to be DIE.
All right, that right there is an opposing view of DEI. Now here's another one.
On YouTube, people are in the comments like, well, if we just stop acknowledging color, yeah, great. You try to get everybody to stop acknowledging color. Good luck with that. Yeah. Good luck with that. And unpeel all of the various layers that are associated that we've attached to hierarchy within our society and intersectionalities beyond just color, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't know. I know I had to let it out.
All right, Connoisseur, go ahead. You give us.
All right, so you got 2 points of view. Now, there's some truth to both of them, because we know on one hand, if we was going to create something, we had to do it ourselves. I mean, that's just reality. When we look at places like Black Wall Street, we look at places like in Durham, North Carolina, we had to. But at the same time, we paid money into this country. We paid taxes. And if we pay taxes into this country, then we deserve to have services that would help us too. See, I agree. Yeah, we have did things without DEI, but at the same time, we also pay taxes to this country. So if you don't want to give us DEI, then don't take our taxes. But if we're going to pay taxes into this country, then there need to be some balance, some semblance. Because really, now if you listen to people like Trump and his conservative allies, they're saying that their attack on DEI is because it gets away from marriage. But those are dog whistles. Dog whistles, because it implied that only white males are the most experienced or the most qualified. But initially, DEI was basically this. We're going to take some qualified whites, some qualified Asians, and some qualified blacks. So it's a greater representation. Think about it. At Austin Peay, we had to have black professors, right? Now, this semester, we had nothing but all white professors. You need that balance and those perspectives to give to the children. So I do understand a need for DEI, but at the same time, we can't become totally dependent upon it, because we have shown some times that we've done things without it. So it's a kind of like a balance. Okay. That's the way I look at it.
What you got on that, Sally?
Well, I agree. I agree with both views, but I believe that there's going to come a time where your work and service is going to be what's going to be shown. Now, there's places in the workplace where your ideas, opinions, and thoughts, or your perspective, I should say, are not appreciated. And there's some companies out here that make sure that your thoughts, abilities, and perspectives are appreciated. Mm-hmm. The benefits of certain things and certain loopholes, we don't have on the African American side, black side. We don't have the right people in place to exploit those benefits. Some benefits we don't know about. Mm-hmm. When you have foreigners that have their friends, family, and loved ones that have already exploited this loophole, and that loophole is it seems like it's just for them, we just don't know about it.
Exactly.
On the government side, like the free aid, free money, free housing, subsistence pay coming in, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we're on the back front because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
Let me give this to you. Go ahead, Sam.
No, because go ahead.
Let me say this. One of the things that I learned in dealing with a lot of people that was coming over from Nissan and Saturn and working at these other companies, that they were able to come here at least for 3 years and not have to pay any type of taxes. That they would not tax. And so that's a loophole. Now, you know, if you're making $100,000, let's just random put something out there like that. You're making $100,000, and we know what that tax look like. By the time you get done, you might only send 75 of it. You know what I'm saying? But they was able to keep that other quarter for at least 3 years up on the visas and whatever perks that comes with it. That's why when you go to other countries with your business, you getting humongous tax breaks that you can't get here.
Yeah.
That's so, but then that also goes to show that we don't have the right people in powerful positions for the community. We look for the like I was saying, like we look for the easy way. Like, oh, we get on WIC, we get on welfare, we got child support coming here, but yet still we're okay with living in the projects for $155 a month. That's a perk. Let's be realistic. That's a perk.
The bad part about that, and I go back to my good time days, and then I'm not for sure this show. Connoisseur, you might know what was it called? Claudine.
Where at? Where was it located at?
I said show. It was a TV show. A movie.
Oh yeah, with James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray. Not James Earl Jones. Yeah, like Claudine. Yeah, I remember. She had to hide the man. She had to hide the man.
She had to hide the man. She not only did she had to hide the man, that back then they were coming in to asking her like basic stuff like why you got a brand new iron? Where you get that at? You got this going on. Where did you get that at? So she had to hide the man. So when you look at Good Times was going on, and they got to the point where they was killing off JJ for whatever, not JJ, but
James.
They were killing off James. But as that show went on, you look at society. You could not be having any type of governmental assistance, and you got a male in the house.
Correct.
So it was
one of the biggest things
in the structure.
Well, one of the biggest things when you talk about Good Times, one of the biggest things that really hurt the characters on Good Times is when James gave back that $26,000. If he would have gave back that $26,000, they would have been all right. They would have been straight. And he should have stopped listening to his wife. They could have sold some Vitabright, and she could have got $5,000 for selling Vitabright. But she didn't want to sell Vitabright because it was 12% alcohol. And yet they walked past a Slit Small Liquor Bull a sign every day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, so like even like shows like that, sometimes it's like you're institutionalized and not even know that you're institutionalized. You might be free walking around, but your brain is being consumed of this is what reality is, and this is the norm. And what we have to do sometimes is we have to get out of in 2025. Sometimes I feel like we're supposed to be so far advanced to the point where our thinking is way superior. Like these programs of DEI are allowing us to really and truly keep companies afloat, because our perception and our creativity is is driving the initiative of the company. It's not that the company is just like, if you look at all the Fortune 500 companies, it's diverse across the board. You have Black CFOs, CEOs, women CEOs, CFOs. You have in certain companies, you have Hispanic heritage, they call them BRG groups and things like that.
And they are doing very well.
They're doing very well. So I think sometimes the restitution, when we start going down to the left of we need this or we need that, I got a lot of brothers and sisters that are sitting at home, not really pushing themselves to be better.
Well, see, that's where when you get the right leadership, that's where they push that self-help. That's what the first lady talked about in the first clip. We was able to excel without DEI. And then, you do know, I would say you do got some brothers and sisters out there that are business owners that are trying to teach others how to business own. In my economic class, I invited a gentleman that owns his own barber college out there out north to come and speak to my students in economics. And I had other people, other entrepreneurs to push that entrepreneurship, because this generation, I think it would be perfect for them because they're not 9 to 5.
No.
We were 9 to 5 because our parents told us, go to college and get a good job. This generation they got on TikTok and they've come up with creative ways of making money. So I think this generation right here is looking for some guidance, some guidance that can give them on how to achieve economically independence. That's all they need. Just it's that right there. This not a they're not gonna be 9 to 5. But this generation, I think.
I agree with that, but also at what cost? At what cost? When a female or a male can be on OnlyFans and make a couple $1 million and their morals are out the window. When they can be on TikTok and is making funny shows of degrading people, their morals has went out the window.
Well, that's true too, but that's not for everybody.
Let me say this. That goes to that James Evan, Florida type ordeal with that $26,000. It was a moral decision. But according to Connoisseur, they could have been out of project. $26,000 back then would have been a major effect on that income.
Because I look at that, I look at it not where it was a decision economically, but I look at it from a biblical perspective as well. The Bible says, "Seek and ye shall find." He found 26,000.
Here you go.
And find you a crib out the projects.
All right, so hold on. So let's talk about that real quick.
Go ahead.
So subsidized housing. What is the purpose of subsidized housing?
The original purpose of subsidized housing, what we call projects, it was for low income people. It was really for the military, guys in the military coming out of World War II, and that's what it was said. It was really set up for that. Give you some public housing because it was an outgrowth of the New Deal that came under FDR. They had a lot of programs that they used, and they found that it was helping white America get their foot into middle class, because that's when white America kicks up out of the middle class, coming out of the World War II into the baby boom era. So that was actually the purpose of it in the very beginning, was to give people a place to stay, cheap cost to rent, get on their feet. And then you got to understand, a lot of these soldiers were getting these GI loans, that they can take those GI loans and buy houses. Now, later on in the 60s, when blacks from the rural area moved to the urban area, and they were told to hustle, hey, you can get your project, you can do this, you can do that. And then that's when we started flooding them in the 60s and in the 70s. A lot of times when we left the rural areas and came into the city.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we got a couple more topics we need to hit on. That's been great information. Here's one for you. Black in the Trump era. Where do we go?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. We need to go the same place we should have been. We should have went under Biden, Obama, all of them, and that's to be self-sufficiency and independence. You know, we complain about if we close down the Department of Education, the department. Okay, we still got to be educated, right? Sometimes we don't take advantage of a situation. I'm gonna give you a good example. Down in Savannah, Georgia, when I was there, charter schools and vouchers were popular. They were just growth. But with some of those places realized, okay, our kids are not learning in public schools. So you had a black church down there. I wasn't sure if it was African Baptist church. It was one of those churches. They say, you know what? We're gonna go for some of this grant money, and we're gonna open up our own school and educate our own kids. And see, when you fall up on the church, you don't have to go by all those different guidelines. So if you don't like the fact that the public school is pushing this, or they're not pushing this curriculum, you can get your own private schools, use vouchers, and then you educate your kids how you want to. And I think that's, our ancestors set up templates. When they came out of slavery and they started establishing these independent enclaves down in Florida, down in Orange Mound and Memphis, down in places in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, they set a template. But a lot of times we got away from that template. So our template should be the same thing Booker T. Washington set for us, the same thing that Marcus Garvey set for us. The template, we've had people to give us templates. And I think that if we just get to the basic stuff, okay, I just taught my kids the other day about Black Wall Street, what they was doing. And I taught them that they were able to be successful because they created business, they did jobs, and they traded money. And I said, what's the biggest thing that they didn't have a lot of? If everybody got jobs and everybody's financial, they said crime. Wasn't a whole lot of crime. I said, yeah. So you could tackle a lot of stuff if you solve a lot of your economic problems. So our template has already been set. We already had a template set. And I'm gonna go back to those old models who showed us a long time ago.
So you saying follow the old template. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just use the wheel.
Yeah, just use the wheel. Yeah.
All right. Well, what you got on there for Russ before we move on to the next topic?
All right. So real quick. So the Trump and Biden administration, or we got to understand that it doesn't matter what president is in power, because if we're talking about education starts at the house. It doesn't start with school. It starts at the foundation at the house. We need better homes, better guidance at homes. We're so inclined to get out of relationships so fast and blame somebody else that we're not really looking at ourselves. As far as whatever decision is made is out of our control.
Stop right there. Say that part about the relationship piece again.
Well, and the relationship piece is this. We're so quick to get out of relationships when things don't go our way. We became grown children that never really want to persevere or go through anything. Just because you have a disagreement with somebody or somebody treats you a certain way, we have poor communication skills where we're not really talking anymore about what was done to you. Your action is to quit. And you also see that in your inner school system. So it doesn't matter what school system that you have kids that their confidence is so low because at home, confidence is a taught skill. It's not something that's this kid has it. It's what the parents project in their children. And the only way you get to understand that is when you really have children. Because you have one child that has confidence out the blue, but you handle the other child differently. You don't handle them both the same. So with the president situation, man, I don't really care who's in office. I didn't like what this side said, or I didn't like what this side is doing. But really and truly, it goes to show, well, whoever that you voted for, your inner evils did come out. When you have people saying certain things on blogs, or even your coworkers feel that, oh yeah, we got this man in office. But when you got this man in office, the lower income people are suffering because free healthcare is no more. They have to pay for it now. I have some white friends in a white town, McMinnville, Tennessee, right down the street from you guys, was getting free healthcare, and now this person has to pay $230 a month to have the same care that he had, and he can't pay it because he's on what? Welfare. So we just have to understand is like we have to have our own self-development. We have to market ourselves, and the business is yourself. What kind of business that you're gonna have is going to work. You're your own boss, really. You make your own choices. Is this for your business is 9 to 5.
Well, and on the that's flip what people side, have to understand. On the flip side of that, you are right, but this is what goes on. People vote according to policies and procedures and who they think the candidate is the best candidate. But when a snake show you it's a snake,
okay,
you can't complain about that snake biting you. You know what I'm saying? You at the end of the day, there's some people that is straight up front gonna tell you this is what my thing is.
Yep.
And you still vote for them, that's on you. Don't get up there and complain. I was watching a couple of video clips, and I wish I had brought them on. where this one lady that was representing the Hispanic population, and she was excited. She was rooting for the president, and she wanted him in now. But now that they're doing the deportation and it's affecting her family, she was like, "Oh, he's a terrible person now. I can't believe he lied to us and stuff like that."
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, Chuck. I got to step away for 1 second. I got to step away for 1 second.
In your first thing, we was talking about we vote on policies and procedures. No, the last 3 presidential elections were based off of emotion.
Okay.
It was based off of emotion. Whatever candidate made you feel a certain way, that's who you voted for. What this candidate did is made that inner person come out, and that's who you wanted. That's who you wanted. So you mean to tell me people storming the White House, if it was a Democratic president, that person be reelected? No. It's a popularity vote. It's a popularity vote, and it's whooping everybody in the face. When I go to work and I just walk in, oh man, I can't believe he said that. Oh my goodness, $5 million for citizenship. I can't believe he said that. Oh man, we got Elon Musk. We got Elon Musk in the Treasury. Elon Musk. He makes money for himself. For himself. And you mean to tell me that they found all this money that was how should I say? They found all this money that was being embezzled, but yet still, where's it at?
That on the slick side, that's what they're trying to recoup. They're really trying to recoup it. They're trying to recoup it by saying that people in federal jobs is lazy. That's the accusation that they're really saying. Ain't nothing getting done. Huh?
In federal jobs is lazy.
Yeah, but that's what they're saying. That's a smack in the face. But the problem is they're allowed to say it without no consequence. And
without no consequence.
I mean, there's no consequence. So, I mean, what do you do? And then if you pay attention to the news and world news, you see that Germany is picking up steam with the same manner of the far right wing.
Yeah.
And they're picking up steam, I mean, like drastically. So now the Germans is discussing the same issues where they feel like they're going back to the Hitler days.
They are. They are. So then if we would get real technical about this, it's going to come down to countries with resources. Once Africa breaks its ties from all the foreign powers and start using their own currency and making sure that if you want this resource, you have to pay top dollar for it. Everything's going to change. France doesn't have their own currency. I mean natural resources, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
America doesn't have its own natural resources. They can pump that oil shit all they want to. They know what's in there. It's not enough. It's not enough.
On that note, you talked about Africa. Now, right now, there's a man in Burkina Faso. I don't know if you keep it with what's going on now. He's doing that. He's trying to get his countries to take control of their resources. His name is Ibrahim Traore. You can follow him right now. He's in Burkina Faso. He's nationalized all the gold. He's paid off their debt. He told the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, we don't want your loans because they're high interest and they're not even designed. They're designed to keep us more into debt. It's like the payday loan of the world. So you follow him. That's one good example.
That's a great example. But to this question, black in the Trump area, what it means to tell every black person in America that you need to make sure that you set a foundation for your family, for yourself, and you need to make sure that you treat yourself like a business. When you start treating yourself like a business, that is when things are going to change for you. When you treat yourself like a handout, when you treat yourself like you waiting for some kind of subsistence or some kind of somebody trying to give you something all the time, you're gonna always feel that pain. I think it's time for us to feel valued.
Let me share this with you. Connoisseur was talking about the black professors and stuff that was at Alpha P. And one of the most two renowned was Dr. Stovall and Dr. Mark.
Yep. Stovall and Mark.
And Dr. Mark, I listened to. I mean, you ever had people like parents that say certain things to you, it didn't make sense at that moment in time because you were really young to understand it. But as you got older, you're like, this is exactly what he was talking about. Yep. Dr. Mark was sitting there. Dr. Mark was sitting there and he was talking to all these people that was so in love and everything. And Dr. Mark said, look at y'all just walking around here like y'all just in love and everything. He said, while you in love, you need to be focusing on your mindset. Your mindset need to be focused and set like a business. Your relationship need to be set like a business. You individually need to be set like a business. And then when you grow your business, then you're going to realize you don't need the assistance of other people. He said that way back in the 90s, and I'll be damned if we look at now, that stuff is not true. It's not, it wasn't false. It was very factual.
For real.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Oh, yeah. Here's another one for you. The importance of Black history now.
Importance of Black history. I think one of the things that we suffer, you talk about getting your mind right and getting the foundation. I think one of the biggest things that we suffer from as a Black people is very simple. We don't know who we are. When it boils down to we don't know who we are, and anybody can tell us who we are.
Yep, that's correct.
But when you get if you look at certain ethnic groups, they study their history, they say their people, you can't turn them around. You can't get them to do certain things. You look at the community over here, Jewish community, they're always going to remind you of the Holocaust. They're going to let you always know that.
Oh, yeah. You better not speak against it either.
No, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, all these other groups know themselves. But when it comes to Black people, we don't. And then we begin to internalize the self-hate and the misinformation, and that's what we carry out. So, but here's the thing. Black history is very important, or they wouldn't be attacking it like they're attacking it. See, they don't attack something that's useless. They don't attack something that's irrelevant. Black history is relevant because you can't teach the history of America without teaching the history of Black people. One, because we're the foundation of this country. This country didn't get built until we built it. And if we built it, there's an article that I have. It talks about the cost of slavery. Slavery not only was just about just picking some cotton. Slavery funneled all these other insurance companies, railways, factories, all these things. And that's what the attack is, to attack our history, to attack who we are. So our history is very, very important. Very important.
Well, one thing I say to people is, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you're going to always have haters, number one. You're going to always have somebody, and as you continue to clam up a letter, as you continue to define success according to what you feel success is, you're going to always have somebody hating on you, because if you are being successful according to you, then those that sitting there hating against you, they don't want you to be successful. They don't want you to be successful. And so I always go back to this thing where there's new levels that you go to, there's new levels. You'll always have somebody to bring you down. And that's why I love to see us encourage one another. I hate to see that crab in the barrel cycle.
Yes.
Facts.
What you got there for us, Russ, before we move on to shut it down?
All right, so for Black history, I second and I also agree that there is no cultural unity because you only know one side of the story. We only know the struggle side of the story here in America. We don't know what our ancestors were. We don't have our own religion. I think that's one of the things that we also should start trying to study is what is the natural religion, because even people in Africa don't have some of their own religion because of Christianity, but most importantly, they have a culture of language, and a culture of language brings them together. We don't have a culture of language that brings us together. All right, our language. Jokingly, Ebonics, but really and truly, broken English. Like Jamaicans have a pride and culture from coming from Jamaica, right? Caribbean people have a pride and culture coming from the Caribbean. We don't have that pride and culture coming from America.
Well, we really do, because think about it. Our biggest cultural bond is our music. Really, it's really our music. I may not know you, and I've been in situations where I've been like down here. I might be in a situation, you see other black people around, and y'all may not know each other personally, but as soon as I put on that UGK, 36 ounces make them bounce in the street. Everybody gets crushed.
See what you're referring to is an era.
Everybody gets the culture connection.
That's an era. That's an era. So
even before then, it was Parliament Funkadelic.
Even before that's an era. Like, but it's still music. We're talking about an era of time.
But there's still music. There's still music bringing us together. It was blues. It was Muddy Waters.
Exactly, but it's an era.
But it's still music. Music is what brings us together.
All right, so music brings us together, right? But there's also some music that brings us together and tears us down.
It tears us down as well.
So, as for Black History, though, they're not gonna. I forgot the name of the book, man. Because when you guys were talking about this, I thought about it. It's a book that has all the lynchings in America, and it's
something sanctuary.
Yeah,
something sanctuary.
So that's not taught. Was taught that once we were slaves, we were sold, we were used as cheap. We were used as cheap labor for American wealth. But the cruelty of that wasn't taught. Usually you would think that something that happened like that, we will be just like the Jews in the Holocaust.
But that's up to us to teach.
That's why they want to take books out of the school. That's why they want Black history out of education. They don't want you to know that horrific stuff that happened, because as they build the new America, they want it to be peaches and ice cream.
Exactly.
And that's not what it is.
Like, we don't even talk about Black accomplishments anymore. Like, I remember there was a time in school where you had to do a report.
We're talking about Black accomplishments right now.
Contributors is what they call them.
You know,
and you had to do a report. My kids are in fifth and fourth grade, and there was none of that. So we did it ourselves. So we got some cards and things like that, and said, hey, Garrett Morgan did this, and
he did quite a bit of things that he got patented for. A lot of people, like I think me, Connoisseur, and another one, our fraternity brother, we did a English paper called "Give it to the right man."
Give it to the right man. Yeah, give it to the right man. Give it to the right man. That was Bryce. That was Bryce.
Me, you and Bryce, and we told them we want to do it together because we had a lot of information. So we really started reading, and it became bigger. It was to the point that when we started doing, I mean, it was like the first time I wasn't even nervous to get up and stand in front of a crowd of people, because I felt it was important for everybody out there, including Dr. Milwaukee, who was from Africa. and Dr. Milwaukee always told us one thing, and I use that to the day. Dr. Milwaukee said, if someone asks you for your phone number, don't give them your social security number and your address. In other words, he said, sometimes we talk too damn much.
Yeah.
When it's about stuff that's very critical, we don't say nothing about it. But we want to be reactive instead of proactive. That's what's wrong with our people.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's get ready to wrap it up. Man, what you typing, a book over there, Russ?
Oh, nah, man. Work-life balance. I sure ain't got the balance.
All right. Leave us with something, Russ. Leave the audience with something that can be encouraging for another week.
Oh man, so okay, no problem, no problem. When you find yourself in the negative, being in the negative is that you can find everything around you that is negative, troubling you, bothering you, meaning that your mindset is focused to a point where you became the quality inspector. But as the quality inspector, you should also have the solution for your issues or problems. The quality inspector on a job site or in life will be able to understand that, oh, there is a variance here that we can be under a threshold. And every day that you look out with your family, um, with anybody, you should be able to train yourself to see the positive in the situation, in the gift of learning and empowerment. And that's what I'll leave you with.
All right, I like that. What you got for us, Connoisseur?
I'll make mine simple and plain. Whenever people say two wrongs don't make a right, I always reply, negative times negative is positive.
Love it.
That's
I
what's
love
up.
it.
That's what's up. My thing for the people is we got to strive to survive in order to thrive.
All right.
We got to strive to
to
survive in order to thrive.
All right.
You take that and you make sense of it.
All right.
Now,
All right, brother.
I want to tell everybody we thank you for joining in. We thank you, Russ. I don't know when he started calling himself Russ. We thank you, Russ, for joining in with us. Connoisseur, we thank you for the wealth of information.
Yeah.
And it was very informative. Got a lot of little hits and people texting me on the phone. Said they enjoyed the conversation, and I appreciate that. But yeah, audience, thank you for joining in. And remember, small victories lead to greater success. I am Dr. Woods, and you have just been hit with the Raw Approach. Peace.
All right.
Come check us out. www.therawapproach.com